It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interview. Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Rose, answer, yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Welcome on in to the second hour of the Full Court Press here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM The Fan. Streaming online at 1069thefan.com and on the 1069 The Fan mobile app. And wherever you get your podcasts, you can find us on our podcast feed. Just search for the Full Court Press or Jason Walker, Eric Frandsen. You'll find us eventually. It's not too hard.
Nope. Yep. A lot of different ways to access the show in real time. On the radio, on the app, on the website.
Bunch of different ways that you can find us.
Yeah.
So glad to be with you. As said, I'm Jason Walker, joined by Eric Frandsen. I point at myself and then him as if anyone can see us while I'm talking. We did have David Nuno of Texas A&M Live, and I pointed over to nobody. See, I'm gesturing. It's just natural part of speech. But we had David Nuno on the show with us. He's from Texas A&M Live. Studio host there, a lot of content for the Texas A&M Aggies, and he helped us preview this matchup. A lot of great insights from him and the great work they do there. So you can go check that out. You can also check out my appearance over on, they played a couple clips of it. You can probably find it somewhere on their like YouTube page or website. But yeah, it's a big game for the Aggies, and I think the Aggies will win this one.
I guarantee it.
Yeah. Guarantee it. The Aggies will win this one.
You said we're not really hot take guys, but on that one, that's a hot take.
That might be a hot take. The Aggies will win.
Aggies will win.
I did see one bold, I don't know if it was a prediction, but it was if something happens, I will do this. And one guy was like, if Utah State wins, I will run a mile for every yard of offense they get in this game. And it's like, you got to be careful with that. I know there was one guy, I don't know if it was real or not, but he said if North Carolina lost, he would run a mile for every point they lost by.
Wow.
And I saw clips and he, it wasn't the full, but it was like, he'd say it was mile 1, mile 2, and all the way up to like 40 or whatever they lost by. And I was like, I'm not sure if this is real though. Although he was sweating during, because again, it's like 30, it's like, it's a marathon and a half.
Yeah. And
it didn't look like he was cutting between days like you would obviously do in that case. Or maybe it was just the exact same because it was indoors. So, but yeah, just there's some, and then there's that Kansas State guy last year. I don't know if you remember that one.
Oh yeah, something with burritos.
Yeah, something about a beefy 5-layer burrito in a very interesting area. We're not going to go into too many details because I don't need the FCC down my back. But that is dangerous territory when you start making those bets. Things like tattoos or things about food or running, you're just tempting fate at that point. It's something that I learned way back when I was a fan, like a young fan of like Patriots and the Jazz. And whenever I'd talk the most trash, that's when my team would lose an embarrassing game. So I learned pretty quickly, don't tempt the sports gods because they will end you. They're not very fun. They do not take kindly to hubris and all these different things. They will find a way to humiliate you at the worst possible time.
Yes. So be careful. There's speaking of that, I guess there's a UNLV player saying there's really not much with Nico Yamalavia, or however you pronounce his last name.
You have to practice saying his name.
UCLA. Which
I don't like. From what I understand, in context, the statement was pretty tame. But whenever you have something like that, especially with how controversial Nico is at this point, where he was the kid that held out at Tennessee so he could go from $2 million in NIL to $4 million, and then he got booted because he tried to pull a holdout.
Yeah, And he did not really impress in the game against Utah, but it'd be hard for anyone to impress against that Utah defense.
Yeah, which is kind of his best hope. He's going to need to perform well against UNLV, which gave up 380 some odd yards to Idaho State through the air. So if he's a good quarterback, I guess you'll find out in this game, or maybe you'll find it out in the other way.
Yeah, that UNLV defensive secondary has a lot to be desired. But a couple of things with college football.
Well, really quick, before we dive too much into this, we've got a few texts that I want to get through.
Okay, yeah, let's hit those first.
Before we dive into our next topic. 8968, actually a topic from the other day, we're talking about the Miles Davis touchdown run, where he said, I saw the replays on the touchdown run. To me, it looked like he stepped out of bounds. If the Aggies got away with one, bless them, how many times in the past do they get hosed? And it's like, I'll be honest, in recent years, though, they've been the beneficiaries of some, like 4 or 5, probably, if I went back and really started counting. The last time I feel like the Aggies really got burned by a bad call was the St. Mary's basketball game in the Spectrum, where there was a really weak foul call at the end of the game. That's about the last time I feel like they got the bad call, but there was like, against New Mexico years back, Abel Porter got away with the backcourt violation. The whole thing at UNLV with the 5-point play. There was this. There's a few as I started digging into it, but like Utah State's gotten the benefit of the doubt on some calls lately. Yeah. They're on the plus side. If they were on the negative side for years, they've gotten back to the plus side.
Yeah. I'll take it. We'll take it.
Yeah, you always take it.
I only saw one replay of it, and that was on the big screen in the arena, and everybody groaned.
Yeah, everybody
I did not have the benefit of seeing it on a screen where it was played over and over from different angles. So on the one replay that I did see, it looked like he could have stepped out of bounds. But
yeah, we had it on the TVs, and they're showing slow motion, zooming in. Like everyone in the press box was convinced, like this is coming back, and then it didn't. We were like, all right,
okay, play on.
Further on the Young Power Sports of Logan text line 5338 saying, I just finished pruning the trees in the full court press courtyard. That'll be $28 million, please. Signed, Kawhi Leonard.
You can cover that, can't you, Jason?
Yeah, sure. Definitely. Can I have an advance on?
Doesn't look like the trees really are any different than they were before. Did he really show up and do any work?
I don't know. I saw some like 7-foot looking guy out there earlier. Might have been him.
What a weird story.
Some really tall guy in dreads, or a corner. Well, what's his hairstyle these days? Sometimes they change it year to year, but that is a heck of a story, and that's something to keep an eye on. The NBA is looking into it, and from what I understand, the last time somebody got caught doing that, didn't end well for them. They lost a lot of draft capital.
Yeah, of course, the Minnesota Clippers and Joe Smith. I think that was going back a little bit.
Joseph Smith.
Yes.
He played for the Timberwolves?
Surprisingly, he never made his way to Utah. It's too bad. Just like the other guy. He never made it to Utah either. 9315 on the text line. So what if I say the Aggies lose? I will eat ghost pepper jerky with a hot sauce chaser to drink. I will be fine, right? You all know the Aggies will win.
Yeah, the Aggies will win.
There will be an Aggie that will win.
You are correct. The Aggies will win.
And then there was another question too. How many times does a first-year football coach beat a ranked P4 team at USU? Blake Anderson did it. Oh wait, ranked? No, Washington State was not ranked.
Probably never.
Matt Wells did not do it.
Considering Utah State has like 4 ranked wins ever,
I think they have 6.
5 or 6. Whatever.
But yeah, not very many.
No, let's see. No, Blake ranked P4 because Blake Anderson beat a ranked team in his first year, but it was San Diego State. It's not a P4 team. Trying to think the P4 ranked teams. I don't even know if they've beaten. I don't know if they've ever beaten a ranked P4 team. Because think of all the ranked teams they've beaten. It's
a ranked P4 team.
I mean, they've beaten a ranked BYU team, which eventually, but they were not P4 at the time.
And Utah was Utah in the Pac-12 when they beat them?
They weren't ranked.
That was in 2012.
Yeah, 2012.
They were not ranked.
They were not ranked.
That's correct.
But they were in the Pac-12 at that point.
Yeah, boy, that's a good question. I don't think they've beaten a ranked P4 team.
I could double check that because I think all of their ranked wins have come in the last 30 years. I know that the one stat I looked up is that they are, I think, 3-28 thereabouts against top 20 teams. Though if you're looking at the sweet spot for beating ranked teams, number 19, they beat number 19 San Diego State, and they beat BYU and Boise State, who two of them were ranked 19th, one was ranked 18th. I don't remember exactly which one was which, but that rank 18-19, and heck, well, actually, I think they might have beat Louisiana Tech, who was around 18
just had
19.
it in front of me. Louisiana Tech was 20th.
Oh, 20th.
That was back in 2012.
So it's like that's around the sweet spot if you're looking at beating ranked teams.
So during the hour break there, I just went through to look in the last 10 meetings on the road against P4 teams. What is Utah State's record?
0-10.
They got one win. That was the Washington State game.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So this is not ranked. This is total
so just overall.
Overall on the road against P4 teams. One win in those 10 games. Average margin 39.9 to 14.
Yeah. That's because there's a good mix of really bad blowouts and some close games in there, because you have the really bad ones to LSU, Alabama. You have the close ones like Michigan State, Wake Forest. Was the Wake Forest in that range?
Yep.
So I guess that goes all the way back to about 2015. So
yeah, so they had a few games that they were competitive. They were close. They've had some certainly big blowouts. 59-10 at Wisconsin, 55-0 at Alabama. Last year's 48-0 blowout to USC. So it's a little bit of a mix, but on aggregate, basically 40-14.
Yeah.
The last 10 meetings where Utah State's gone on the road against P4 teams.
Not particularly close. 9-5, one last text before we actually jump into what we're going to talk about here. So the odds are in favor for beating a ranked P4 team for a new coach. Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, I mean,
if it ends up being a coach who is, is that surprise first year coach, then yeah, but it's hard for first year coaches to have immediate success.
Yeah, and it's hard to think of Bronco Mendenhall as a first year coach. Yes, it's his first year here, but there's a lot of film on Bronco and how he does things. Yeah,
and it also goes with, I think, you have a coach who's experienced, so he's not a first-year coach in that sense, because he's got, 20 years of head coaching experience. But it's his first year here, and even these, super experienced coaches, when they come into a new school and it's their first year, they don't always succeed right away. Like, Bronco went into Virginia, what he did at BYU, immediately take that at Virginia. No, they went 2-10. Yeah, and taking it to New Mexico, what they do, they went 5-7. If they don't beat a ranked Washington State team in a bit of a fluke game, they go 4-8. Although you could play with that logic and say they could have beat a Hawaii team and gone 6-6. So it's like that can kind of go either way depending on how pessimistic you want to be. But you can't just assume that because Bronco Mendenhall's a good coach, he's going to automatically bring massive wins. Could he do that? Sure. He very well could. He's a good coach, and good coaches do good things with programs, especially when you got a pretty solid Utah State program. But I don't want to make those assumptions, because there are a lot of times when good coaches go into programs and then they don't succeed. Happens all the time. But yeah, let's shift into a topic that does involve Bronco Mendenhall quite a bit, and that is the transfer portal. It impacts him a lot. Not necessarily he's known for the transfer portal or whatever, but there was a report today, I guess an announcement or was it officially announced?
Well,
or
first reported by Ross Dellinger.
Yeah, first reported by Ross Dellinger. That's where I saw it, where
there's this NCAA oversight committee.
Yeah, and there's been kind of a preamble to all this, going through committees and different things like that, this idea of a single transfer portal window, moving from what we have now, where there's a portal window in December, basically throughout bowl season. And then you have another portal window in the spring after spring ball, middle of April. Well, there's been a growing movement to go to just one portal window and to put it in January. And today reported that the NCAA Oversight Committee will be approving that and may very well implement it for this season, as in January 2026. Might happen, though they'd have to, cross some hurdles to get there, but it's a possibility.
Yeah, it would be a 10-day window, what they're proposing, a 10-day window that begins on January 2nd. So it allows for more time for teams to be involved with the college football playoff and bowl games without disruption to their rosters. But so on one hand, that's a good thing. And it allows coaches to do recruiting in December. I mean, I cannot imagine the life of a coach in December, especially if you're a bowl team, because you're trying to prepare for a bowl game. You're trying to get your kids to finish their semesters, do all their finals. You're doing your recruiting for the early signing period, and you're trying to recruit your own roster to stay. And it's mind-boggling what coaches have to go through in December. So this would be a good thing on that front. The challenge of it would be that this portal window is open through January 12th. So for Utah State, their spring or winter semester usually begins around like January 4th or 5th. So the winter semester will have already started while this portal window is still open. So getting commitments from players, and that's just for players to enter the portal. There's no timeline of when you need to declare where you're going, but you have a time window of when you can declare to put yourself into the portal. So getting commitments from players and securing what your roster in the spring is going to look like. I mean, it might be mid-January, even late January before you really know what your roster is going to look like for the next year.
Yeah, and it makes spring ball really tricky because, like, how many of these guys are you going to have available for spring ball? Like, there might be ways for them to be able to get these guys enrolled, but it would be tricky with the timing. For instance, if they implemented the portal window for this upcoming January, Utah State's spring semester begins on the 6th, 5th or 6th. I forget which one. I know in the quote
pulling it up right now.
Yeah,
January 6th.
Yeah, I looked it up earlier earlier today. Although in the quote we had, because we actually asked Bronco Mendenhall about this, I couldn't dig up the audio clip in time because I was doing some other things, and before I thought, we should go dig up this old clip of something he said, but I was able to find it from one of the articles I wrote where I mentioned this, where this is what Bronco Mendenhall said. This is back in March when we asked him, but he said having the portal window in early January, he said that would literally eliminate us from being able to use the transfer portal unless Utah State's academic calendar changed, or we found some way to have players arrive and either take remote or online coursework somehow where they have a chance to catch up maybe 3 to up to even 4 weeks after the semester started. Because, yeah, you can... I know I posted some of this stuff on the good old X Twitter earlier today, and I had one person, Brian Phillips, actually point out that there were players who committed after after spring semester began, and apparently they participated in spring ball. Maybe I'm just not familiar with the logistics there. That wouldn't be unprecedented for me not to know the logistics of how these things work, but it would be trickier, I think, for Utah State to be able to manage its roster in the offseason, especially for spring ball, when you look at the timeline, like guys not committing until after the spring semester began. Well, that was when the portal opened in December. How long is it going to take those guys to make the way over to Utah State? It can be a weeks-long process to be recruiting these guys. And I know there's probably still going to be guys who announce they're going into the portal in December, but unless you're willing to do the whole tampering thing, which maybe Utah State's not doing, you never want to say they're not doing it because who knows, maybe they are. But, it's just...
I don't think it would be uncommon for players to still say, after their season is done, look, I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm just letting everybody know the portal isn't open yet, but I'm letting everybody know I'm available. Because a lot of players, they want to be in the portal early and let it be known they'll be in the portal so they can get recruited early. So they're not sitting around waiting, where am I going to go?
Yeah, but
is anyone going to take a flyer on me?
Yeah, and how's that going to work when the season will end in December for a lot of these players? they announce they're going into the portal, and the portal doesn't open until January. Are they going to sit there twiddling their thumbs? I imagine they'll probably still have coaches. In a sense, that becomes like ethical tampering because like everyone's okay with it. If there's such a thing as ethical tampering.
It's like NBA free agency,
Yeah,
where
basically.
it doesn't open until like 10 p.m. on a certain day.
And at 10:01,
And
guys
at
are signing big contracts.
The Mavericks announced so-and-so has this big free agent contract. It's like, that's amazing how fast you got all that paperwork figured out.
Basically.
And agreed to those terms in seconds.
Yeah, basically. So it will be interesting to see exactly how this works, but like it's going to make things hard, I think, for spring ball. And like that's, from the man himself saying, or I think maybe he's exaggerating where, he says it would eliminate them from using the portal. Like they could still use the portal, but in the context of spring ball, it would become incredibly difficult to get guys in, get guys enrolled, get them in school. Because like if there are guys who commit after spring semester starts, well, they'll probably have already been recruited for a while and may have been working through that enrollment process already. So they may have been able to still do that. But with the way it is now, portal opens and you have 3 days to get them enrolled.
Well, you can join late. I don't know what the deadline is to apply for like financial aid and scholarships and stuff like that. But you can arrive on campus after the semester has started. It's not the end of the world. It does complicate things. But what I really like about this, the timing is complicated. But what I really like about this is December is not as crazy anymore, not as crazy. And there's only one free agency window. That's all. That's what I'm going to call it. It's free agency.
Yeah.
It's college football is the only sport that has two free agency windows. And it's stupid that a player could be at one institution in December, be at another institution in January through May, and be at a third institution in August. It's possible. It's happened. There's a guy on Utah State's roster where that happened. And so it's just that is not good for anybody. So having one period of time where there's one transfer window where you're recruiting, you're figuring out what your roster is, you're going to coach guys into the portal or try to find guys out of the portal, and then you can move on. And then you don't have to worry about closed practices in the spring and shutting things down in the spring because there's not another window where guys are going to get poached off your roster. You can open things up again, and you can be more honest about what your team is really all about because you only have that one period of time where you really have to be focused on it. The rest of the time, you're doing football stuff, not trying to recruit your players or recruit other players or poach players. You're just doing football.
Yeah, you don't have to be afraid of going through spring ball and have like a guy on your team that maybe he's not, won the starting job after transferring. It's like, do I got to worry if I don't play this guy and tell him he's a starter, is he going to leave? Like, you got to worry about those guys. In addition to, this guy's playing really well. Is he going to get poached? Is he going to be like, all right, I'm playing super well, I'm going to go market myself to all the bigger teams?
And cut down on false promises for both players and coaches.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it'll ever slow down false promises.
Those will always be there, but it'll slow them down.
Yeah, hopefully it'll slow down false promises in the spring. They'll be able to be a lot more open between each other. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, let's talk some Thursday night football, maybe a little bit of that, and also some Eurobasket. NFL season starts tonight.
That's right. Kickoff of the NFL season is here.
We'll talk about
have it here on the Fan.
Yeah, it'll be here on the Fan, so we'll talk about it next here on the Full Court Press.
Have you thought about your furnace lately? Of course not. It's hot outside. Now's a great time to start thinking about replacing it or having it serviced for fall and winter. Advanced Heating and Air will help you get some of the industry's best rebates on a new high-efficient York furnace installed in your home. Or one of Advanced Heating and Air's service professionals can service your furnace for the upcoming winter season. Call today, 752-7272, or schedule a free estimate at advancedheating-ac.com. York, install confidence.
Hi, this is Brooke Stevenson.
Ty Smith.
And David Castor with Adams Wealth Advisors. We're truly honored to be named Best of Northern Utah Gold winner for the best financial planner. This community means everything to us, and we're grateful for every customer who made this possible. Thank you for your trust.
Advisory services offered through Adams Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. For important disclosures and more information, visit adamswealthadvisors.com. That's adamswealthadvisors.com.
The patio is open. The chips are endless. Drinks on tap. You know it's got to be Cafe Sabor, Cache Valley's best Mexican restaurant, gold winner in the Best of Northern Utah contest. Experience Locals Day every Thursday with a huge burrito, endless chips and soda, only $7.95. That's a complete lunch for just $7.95. Finding any lunch under $10 is nearly impossible. Every Thursday, drinks, chips, and massive burrito, just $7.95. The patio, the sun, the fun at Cafe Sabor in the historic train station on 6th Weston Center in Logan.
Express tires for less.
Safety and comfort on the road are Express Tire's top priority. As a Point S team member, count on peace of mind with an inclusive warranty that includes nationwide protection. Any brand, any size, better pricing. No appointment necessary on the highway at 3200 North Main.
Express tires for less.
It's time to make the outdoor living improvements you've talked about. Castellite in Logan has everything you need to turn your backyard get-together into a backyard event. If you need pavers for a walkway, a retaining wall for your garden, or to reshape a flower bed, or a fire pit to roast marshmallows, think Castellite. Their experts will reduce your DIY stress for brick, block, rock, paver, and tile. Go where the pros go. Online at castellite.com.
Life is hard, so making sure you find that perfect woman is important. You need someone that will be by your side through the good and the bad. Once you have found her, show her that she is special with a beautiful diamond ring from Jerix. Yes, it is all about the romance. At Jerix, you won't find a more intimate setting. Where you purchase the ring might not be as important as who you choose to marry, but it's pretty close.
Jerix Fine Jewelry. Make it special. Make it Jerix.
The Aggies, the Jazz, the high schools, the full court press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Feel the love at Mountain Valley Heating and Air. Need a new system? No problem at Mountain Valley Heating and Air. Both residential and commercial spaces, small homes to large businesses. Feel the love with Mountain Valley Heating and Air. That's mtnvalleyhvac.com. mtnvalleyhvac.com. Eric, we've talked college football. We talked high school football. We'll talk more high school football tomorrow, as we'll preview this weekend's upcoming matchups. But NFL, starting tonight, Thursday night football, Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, the reigning champions against a team that hasn't been the reigning champions since before I was born. So maybe they might have won one after I was born, but it's been a long time since the Cowboys have actually been relevant. Despite how much they get talked about.
It's been a very long time.
They get talked about every year. Nobody will shut up about him. If it's any credit to Jerry Jones, he managed to get put into the Hall of Fame despite having the most irrelevant team in the NFL for 30 years.
Right. Well, he subscribes to the any news is good news.
Yeah, he certainly lived up to that this offseason.
Yes.
Managing to make everyone talk about his team, even if he's being made fun of by literally everyone. Still managed to get everyone to talk about him. Yeah, we're talking about him right now.
Yeah, but there's a lot of noise about the Cowboys, especially leading up to the start of the season. But the Eagles, very solid team, very solid program. How well do they continue into this new season? We'll have a pregame here on the Fan starting at about 5:45, so not that far away to start kicking things off. You got one game tomorrow. On Friday, the Chiefs are taking on the Chargers in Brazil in Corinthians Arena.
I was about to say, where is Corinthians Arena? It's like
Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo, Brazil. It's like that is Corinthians?
Corinthians Arena, that's what it's
Corinthians called. That's Greece. Why is it called Corinthians Arena?
I have no idea. And then a full day on Sunday with the NFL kicking off. So I'm excited to see Jordan Love and the Packers certainly bolstering their defense. But how Jordan Love looked good 2 years ago, had a bit of a step back last year, had some injuries, had some other guys around him that were injured, so they weren't quite as efficient. How well did they bounce back? Tough opening opponent with the Lions playing at their house. And then certainly, as we've already mentioned, Kansas City, Jalen Royals. Does he see some action tomorrow night? Does he start to get involved in the rotation a little bit for Kansas City?
Yeah, we're going to have to watch a lot of these. There's a lot of games for us to watch. Several that I'll probably just watch on principle of it being the first NFL game. We'll probably watch Cowboys-Eagles until or unless it gets boring. If the Cowboys, or maybe the Cowboys are just going to try and score, 50 points every game, much like the Bengals. We need to watch a Cowboy. Do the Cowboys play the Bengals this year? Just two terrible defenses, but two offenses. They'll just be like 60-60 or something like that. Cowboys Eagles will hopefully be an exciting one. Chiefs Chargers. We'll see if the Chargers can make this interesting. They've kind of underperformed. A fun game in Brazil, but you've got some really interesting games. I think maybe a little bit later in the kind of the afternoon slate is maybe a little more interesting for the NFL. Where you got Lions Packers. Ravens, Bills, that's your Sunday night football.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think the Texans, Rams. Monday night football is kind of the ugly ducking because it's Vikings, Bears. But
could be interesting just in the fact that neither team's real dynamic. Both teams are, they have some things that aren't great about their rosters, but both teams trying to kind of come into a new era, if you will. So it's predicted to be a pretty close game.
Yeah,
so
they're both starting young quarterbacks. Caleb Williams for the Bears, and then I forget his name, the kid out of Michigan for the Vikings who missed last year because of an injury. I suddenly can't remember his name. Yeah, we're both going to think about that forever and probably not end up remembering it. But yeah, some good games with the NFL. We'll keep an eye on the Aggies in the NFL. As Eric's mentioned, Jalen Royals. One kind of mystery in a sense. We know what Bobby and Jordan are going to do, but
J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, J.J. McCarthy. That's what it was. So we know that Bobby Wagner's going to play well for Washington.
Yes.
They take on the New York Giants. They should be able to come away with that one. The Giants are kind of floundering as a franchise right now, trying to hit the reset button, get things working for them. They got Russell Wilson though, probably one of the more overrated quarterbacks, at least for a while. He's not overrated anymore, but
is he at this stage of his career? How much can he still perform at a high level?
Did he ever perform at a high level?
Well, he performed at a decent level.
Yeah, that's the thing. He performed at a decent level. Everyone thought he was performing at a high level. Turns out he was just decent his whole career.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll see if he can stabilize the ship with the Giants. But yeah, the Commanders trying. They had a bit of a scare there with Terry McLaurin, where they thought maybe he was going to leave, but he stuck around. So they've still got their top receiver there, trying to make a run back to the NFC title game. And of course, the game I'll be most interested in, Patriots-Raiders. That's just because I'm a Patriots fan. I don't know if that's actually going to be a good game, but they're favored in that one. Drake May, is he actually going to be good this year? Former Mountain West player, Ashton Genty, he's probably going to be a feature of that Raiders offense.
Well, and the wide receiver for Las Vegas, Cooper.
Mari Cooper.
Yeah, announcing he's retiring days before the start of the season.
Well, he signed with them 2 weeks ago. It seemed like he was a free agent for a while, wasn't sure if he was going to play, and then he signs with the Raiders, and then I guess he decided he was done with football. He maybe thought he wanted to still play, and then he got back into the grind and was like, you know what, I'm too old for this. And he retires. That kind of, you think you want to still do your career, and then it's like, no, I don't miss the grind.
Yeah. Yeah, so the start of the NFL season starts tonight. Once again, here on The Fan, we'll have a host of games over the weekend on Sundays. So when you're out and about on a Sunday, take your radio with you or where you can listen to these games on 1390 AM or 106.9 FM. And we'll also have a lot of college football games on Saturday as well. So a lot of sports content that we'll have, a lot of football on Saturdays and Sundays for the next couple of months here on The Fan.
Yeah, this is your home for hearing college football, unless it's the Aggies. And if it's that case, head on over to KVNU. We got you covered there, too.
We invite you to change the channel.
Yeah, one of the few times we'll invite you to change the channel.
Right.
Because they cover college football. Of course, we got high school football all over the place on our family of radio stations. Skyview Bobcats heard here. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got Pick 6. I managed to break Eric's grand old winning streak of 2 weeks.
They were 2 great weeks.
2 great weeks. So I'm on I've won 1. We'll see if I can make it 2. But we'll try and predict things that happen over the weekend. With all the sports that's happening, I'll have 3 lines. Eric will have 3 lines. We'll try and predict it. Make sure to tune in next segment for that here on the Full Court Press.
One smile is great. But one smile in a community of smiles is so much better. A smile has a secret power that most people don't know about. A smile multiplies. It spreads from one person to the next, stretching across entire groups of people. Smile Train knows this and is proud to be creating a wave of smiles across the cleft lip and palate community in over 70 countries. Patients, doctors, advocates, fundraisers. Collectively, our smiles are a celebration of the transformed lives of over 1.5 million children. Learn how Smile Train is helping the cleft lip and palate community at smiletrain.org/learn. Smile Train, changing the world one smile at a time.
Vicky, how you doing? How's the knee?
It's coming along, doctor, but still some soreness.
Well, let's see. This soon after surgery, some pain is pretty normal.
I was hoping to get more painkillers. The first round worked great.
We're being very careful with those now. Prescription painkillers are opioids, same as heroin. It's easy to start taking them, not so easy to stop.
Last year in America, an average of 40 people died from opioid abuse every day. Long-term addiction has become America's newest health epidemic.
So no pills?
Vicky, you're doing great. So let's try these anti-inflammatories, plus your physical therapy. If the soreness doesn't continue to get better, give me a call.
For opioids, the smaller the dose prescribed and taken, the better. Because even a few prescription painkillers can sometimes go a long, wrong way. A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons and the Orthopedic Trauma Association. Visit orthoinfo.org/prescription safety.
Following the local teams, it's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Cache Valley's biggest garage sale is coming up on Saturday. It's going to be at the Eccles Ice Arena parking lot. I heard earlier today, this is much bigger than what happened in the spring. So there's already more vendors, more people have signed up to participate on Saturday. And it's been going all day. Well, not all day, but in the morning until the early afternoon. And a great chance to go find some great deals. There will be food trucks there. There'll be bounce houses for the kids. A lot of various different people selling different things from their garage or attic or basement, or even some specialty items, vintage items you can go find. It's presented by DD Auto and Salvage. Go check it out. I believe it starts at 8 a.m., goes until about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Go check it out at the Eccles Ice Arena on Saturday, Cache Valley's biggest garage sale. You can find more details at cachevalleyGarageSale.com.
All right, and it's time now for us to do what we do every Thursday. It's time for Pick 6.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day.
No way.
It's the Full Court Press Pick 6.
Ever since March Madness ended, I am so bored.
6 things we think will happen this weekend.
I don't know how the whole betting thing started, but it's fun.
All right, so I've got 3 lines. Eric's got 3 lines. We'll do a tiebreaker. I get to choose who goes first, and we were deciding I need to go first because Eric's over-prepared. He's got some backups in case he would steal some of mine.
That's right.
So if I steal some of his, he'll be ready for it. So let's start with this. Utah State volleyball. They're taking on 2 ranked teams later this week. How many sets do they win combined in both of those matchups? So they can win up to 6. How many do they win? I set the line at 2.5.
I'll take the over.
All right, I'll take the under. Micah Parsons, obviously big story. How many sacks does he have in his first game as a member of the Green Bay Packers? Set the line at 1.5.
I'll take the under.
I'm going to take the under as well. And then Utah State. Well, speaking of sacks, how many sacks does Utah State allow? How many times does Bryson Barnes go down? I guess all quarterbacks. I mean, does Utah State allow against Texas A&M? I set the line at 3.5.
I'm going to take the over.
I'm going to take the under.
Okay.
All right, over to you.
Lauri Markkanen is taking on Serbia. He and his Finnish compatriots taking on Serbia on Saturday in Eurobasket. So points for Lauri Markkanen. 22.5.
Who are they playing again?
Serbia. It's Nikola Jokic and Serbia. They play on Saturday. Lauri Markkanen, 22.5 points.
I'm going to go under.
We'll take the over.
All right.
Nemish Keta in Eurobasket. Portugal's taking on Germany. So Nemi points, rebounds, and blocks combined, 25.5.
I'll go under.
Okay, I am also going to take the under.
Have I taken the over on any of these lines so far?
I don't think you have. And then finally, big showdown in Region 11 tomorrow night. Ridgeline hosting Mountain Crest. Ridgeline over Mountain Crest by 10.5.
I'll take the over on that one.
Okay, I will take the under.
All right, and then I've got the tiebreaker. Drake May, my New England Patriots, his total yards. So passing, rushing, and receiving if he somehow pulls it off. Over under 270.5.
I'll take the under.
All right, and that gives me the over. So there we are. That's pick 6. Reminder, one thing I actually got sent this by Jalen Moore. They're having their AAU basketball tryouts over at the Civic Center in Smithfield. That's Saturday, I believe, Saturday morning into the afternoon. I believe we got these details up on our community calendar.
I have shared them with the people who are responsible for posting that.
Okay. So we're getting most of those details there. But, yeah, if you've got a girl who plays basketball, they got AAU basketball tryouts, 11 to 12:30 for 16, 17-year-olds, 1 to 2:30 for 14, 15, then 3 to 4:30 for the 12 and 13-year-olds. So just a heads up there. Jalen Moore, friend of the show, and he's, again, running a pretty successful AAU team out of Cache Valley.
Yeah, great opportunity for people to get some extra training, get some extra coaching, and play with other players trying to improve their craft, improve their game. The Moore family has really dedicated a lot into this and trying to provide opportunities for a lot more athletes to get involved in the game.
Do you think if I asked, he would try and train me, improve my basketball game?
You could ask. I don't know how much time he has. He's a pretty busy guy.
It's like, all right,
I remember last time we talked to him, he was like coaching 3 or 4 different teams all at once.
It's like there's a lot that we have to work on, Jason, starting with gestures vaguely at me waddling down the court. Just a lot to fix there. Early show exit. We're actually ending the show right now. We're going to hand it over to the NFL as they have the season
NFL
opener.
kickoff.
NFL kickoff, Thursday Night Football.